Thank you very much, and welcome to the city that just elected the first woman of color in his city's history to be mayor of San Francisco. London Breed will do a phenomenal job, and we thank all the people of San Francisco for having the courage to see that we need to continue to bring out the leaders of this country who have paid the price and have earned the chance, and so we will continue that. I want to say first, hi to everyone. I think pretty much everyone has gone through my office at some point in time in Congress or maybe now in the State Attorney General's office. So it's almost as if I should be asking, how's the turkey? Are we ready for a Thanksgiving dinner together? Because we've done so many things to break bread together and to try to work on things like family. And so I owe you as family a big thank you for what you do. For what you did right away when this administration took office and try to discriminate against people because of their faith and keep them from being able to join with family and loved ones or their career or their education here in this country when the Trump administration tried to ban individuals from certain countries into the process of trying to deny young people who've known America as their only home the chance to continue moving forward. And of course, even today, as we see an administration for the first time believing that it's okay to separate a child from a mother or a father in a foreign land. You've been there, and so I owe each and every one of you, as the son of immigrants, a thank you for what you do for our family of Americans who are doing nothing more than what my parents did, and that is to show the rest of the country that we belong. That we will work as hard as we can, that we will love this country more than those who were born here, and that we will prove to you that we belong because we will build this country. And you are the voices, you are the tools that let us as immigrant families get out there and prove that America is strong because of the work of those who came to the shores of this country to prove that America really is great. So thank you for what you've done over the years. Ben, thank you very much, and to all of AILA's executive committee members, to those of you who have been members for a long time and paid your dues. Wait a minute, there weren't too many people who laughed and chuckled, so I hope, Ben, by the time this is over, they'll be paying their dues. You can text so-and-so number and pay your dues. But thank you all for what you do to keep the Statue of Liberty's dream strong, and for doing it often for very little remuneration. And oftentimes, well, you probably don't take goats and chickens and pigs anymore, but you still do it in ways that show that you go beyond just being a legal advocate for the families that you represent. So thank you very much. I suspect that you feel the same way, that what you're doing, what I'm doing, is nothing more than living my values. This is not about going after Donald Trump. This is not about believing that the federal government is just a bad character. To me, this is about standing up for what I grew up watching. People who just work really hard all the time, try to follow the rules as best they could understand them, and give their kids a little bit more than they ever had. Those are the values that drive me to do what I do. It is plain and simple. And my suspicion is that if we can convey that we're just standing up for our values, that more and more people will come along with us in this fight. This isn't about bringing gang members into the country or about increasing the rolls on welfare. This isn't about bringing those who want to commit the next terrorist attack. This is not about trying to deny the federal government the right to enforce our federal laws. This is about defending what has made this country so good. And so, of course we're going to stand up for this stuff. Of course the Attorney General, who has 1,200 attorneys in the state of California, not a one was hired to do immigration law, is going to do immigration. because it is constitutional law that at the end of the day I'm defending, and it is a people who've proven themselves, like my parents, they have earned a right to be given a chance. And so if you're like me, you're just standing up for the values that have made you, your family, and our country very strong for a long time. And I hope you don't stop. And by the way, I can't believe there's anyone in this room who believes this fight is new, that these attacks have never been seen before. My dad, who was actually born in the U.S., but is probably more of an immigrant than my mom, who came here when she married him when she was 18, my dad couldn't walk into restaurants as a young man. You know, the signs before him used to be, Irish need not apply. In his case, it was no dogs or Negroes allowed into restaurants. The same thing. You know, when he wouldn't get paid for all the work he had done, it happens today. It's not new for our families, our brothers and sisters who are immigrants, to face these hardships, but they persevere and they keep moving forward because oftentimes they know the circumstance where they left would be even worse. And so they just try their darndest, just keep going. So I hope what we will take from them is the understanding that it's all about just the struggle and moving forward, that they recognize it's not going to be easy. It is not fun to have to put in more hours and get less pay. It is tragic when you are separated from your family member, but they will go on because they don't have a choice. And so for us, failure is not an option either. We just have to do this. But this is not new. This has happened over the course of time in this country. We just have to prevail as we've seen it before. Because Irish can apply for any job they want now. And my dad can walk into not just restaurants, but I'll show you a photograph if you come visit my office of him walking through the White House doors to meet the President of the United States of America. Not this president, by the way, not this president. And don't be fooled. It's not just on immigration, right? We just had a press conference call today, this morning. I was joined by Attorney General Mark Herring. I was joined by Sister Carol Keehan. Many of you remember in the fight for the Affordable Care Act, she was there at the forefront. We were there talking about how the Affordable Care Act is now under assault. The same administration that we have to fight on immigration has decided to go AWOL in defending the Affordable Care Act in court against Texas and some 19 other states that are trying to undo it altogether. We figured that's what they were going to do, and so in California we led 17 other AGs, 16 other total, plus California, in an action to intervene in a case that was filed by Texas. And we are today now, because of the Trump administration going AWOL, the lead defenders of the Affordable Care Act in court to make sure that millions of Americans not just continue to have the health insurance they received under the Affordable Care Act, but the more than 130 million Americans who have a pre-existing health condition don't lose the insurance they got, whether through their employer or otherwise, because of the efforts by Republicans in Texas and now in this administration to undo the Affordable Care Act. It's going on all the time. I have to sue Betsy DeVos at the Department of Education because she's unwilling to defend students who got defrauded by these predatory for-profit colleges. This is not new. Just talk to your clients. This is not new. And just talk to your clients, and you'll know what you have to do. Because they will get up in the morning. As my father used to tell me, if I can get up in the morning and go to work, it's a good day. As tough as things are, if they can get up in the morning and go to work, it's a good day. And you all can get up in the morning and you can go to work, so it will be a good day. And we've seen this before, whether it was the Chinese Exclusion Act, whether it was the internment of Japanese Americans, whether it was the deportation of U.S. citizens who were thrown in with immigrants who were coming in under the Becerra program. If you were here in California just a generation ago with Proposition 187, It's not new. And so here's my point. Our job is to keep fighting. And if you look back at all those things that I just mentioned, our job isn't to just keep fighting. It's to keep winning. Because we have won, and we will win again. I defy you to tell me, stand up and do an amen, that you thought when we filed our lawsuit to defend DACA against the president's decision to repeal it, that you thought we were going to win and get a preliminary injunction across the nation protecting DACA students and DACA dreamers so that the Trump administration could not cancel the program on March 5th. I defy you to stand up and say you thought we were going to win that case. Yeah. And so here we are. My dad can't open his hands anymore because his tendons have fused. His knees gave out decades ago. You see in his face the scars of working in road construction most of his life under 100-degree weather. But at near 90 years of age, he still wants to go to work. That's the power of believing that you can do something better for someone else. And that's the power we just got to take with everything we do. And so let me share with you the words that have inspired me to just know that I can fight and I can win. Because more often than not, I've taken on fights where I have scraped my knees and people have said, hey, nice try. But I just know that it's not the scraped knee that means that I've lost. Because I can get up. And if I can go to work, it will be a good day. And so John Lewis, a great American hero, a dear friend of 24 years in Congress, and someone who will go down in history as a leader of American thought and rights, would always tell many of us in our Democratic caucus in the House of Representatives, if you want to win, you got to get in the way. You just can't let the things be the way they are. You got to get in the way. Somebody's got to be first to get in the way. You got to get into trouble, good trouble. And so this is a big room, lots of folks. You got to get in the way. You got to get in some good trouble, and I want to be there with you when you do. Okay. And it's not just John Lewis who says it. Today, I love to cite what John would always tell us because I think it's so powerful. It's majestic in its simplicity. Get in the way. And today, those who we are defending are perhaps exercising that right that they received from people like John Lewis over the years so well. When the dreamers get up and say, I am undocumented, publicly, and unafraid, they are getting in the way. And I would hope that we would recognize is that if a dreamer who is subjecting himself or herself to ICE coming in and saying, thanks for letting me know who you are, come with me, is willing to say, I am unafraid, why should we not be up with them saying, we are unbowed and unafraid? And we must stand with those folks who get in the way, who are undocumented and unafraid, and prove to them that tomorrow when we get up in the morning, it's going to be a good day. That is for us to do. And so, as I said, I'm going to stop so we can carve the turkey and start to eat our Thanksgiving dinner, because there will be a day when we will get to say thanks for all we have done. And if I can leave you with one word that I believe says everything I'm trying to convey to you, that this son of immigrants who has optimism in his DNA, because that's only way you can grow up as the son or child of immigrants. If I can say it to you in one word, and I suspect most of you know a little bit of Spanish, it's ganas. Ganas. Those who aren't clapping are right now looking up on Googling, what the heck is ganas? G-A-N-A-S. It's grit. It's guts. And it's this sense that you know from your heart it's going to happen. And if you have ganas, the desire, with that grit and the guts, nothing gets in your way. And so it is time for us, in every respect, to convey that we have ganas, that we will get in the way, that we will be unbowed and unafraid. Because the reality is, some of those people who day in, day out are proving to us that they are unafraid because they get up and go to work even if they don't have documents. They get up and go to work even if they don't know if they'll come home that day to see their kids. They need someone who will prove to them that they can continue to get up and believe it'll be a good day. We must be unbowed and unafraid for all of these families. And we will, after a few scrapes, we will get to celebrate that Thanksgiving dinner together with those families that we have helped form the next generation of Americans who will keep the Statue of Liberty standing tall, because we understand what this is all about. It is not something new. It's as old as time. But we have a few extra tools, and we will do the work. I am thrilled to be with you because I am with my family. And if my family were here today, they would say, bienvenidos, y tenga muchas ganas. Have a lot of ganas. Thank you all very much.
Okay, using our new technology here, I'm going to take my privilege of picking the question. This one seems good. Is California accepting refugees from other states?
Ben, if you're applying, we'll find a spot for you.
There's a number of questions here about, obviously the question of sanctuary cities, but one set of questions here is an awareness that I think the administration has indicated a desire to focus on states like California for worksite raids. So do you have that on your radar screen? Have you thought about what role the state can or should play if the administration engages in more massive worksite raids in California?
Look, here's the way I deal with all of that. Is there evidence that this administration seems to be targeting states that are pushing back, are unbowed and unafraid? You could total up a lot of evidence on that. As I said when I first took this position, I'm not looking to pick a fight, but we're going to be ready for one. And that's what California has done. And I will tell you that what we do is not because we're trying to hit back. It's because if we don't do this, California won't continue to be the economic engine for the country, the state that creates more jobs than any other, the state that's become number one in clean energy, in high tech, in agriculture, in manufacturing, in hospitality, in entertainment, in graduating people from college. So my job is to defend everything that has allowed us to bump Great Britain from the list of top economic powers and now become California's one state, the fifth economic power in the world. That's my job. Someone wants to get in our way, then we fight, because we need to create jobs. We need to be a welcoming society that gives everyone a chance, whether it's London Breed to be mayor of San Francisco or the next immigrant family to have an opportunity to get ahead. We're going to fight for that because at the end of the day, it's good business.
Yes.
All right. A lot of questions about due process and perhaps the assault on due process and relatedly the question of what's happening at the southern border. With those folks that are arriving and seeking asylum. We've seen many of them in mass federal court hearings, 50, 60 people being represented by one attorney, real challenges with interpretation. So as a legal matter, what's your take on what's happening at the southern border and the frustrating the process of asylum? And then as more, I guess, of a political matter, what do you think we can do to continue to elevate that issue and be effective?
I think as a legal matter, I will tell you that I think you all are the vanguard on this, because as these cases come forward, a lot of it depends on how we can prove up the facts on these particular cases. As a moral matter, I don't think that this will read well in the history books of our country in the future. And as a political matter, I think this is where the weakness of this Congress and the depravity of an administration that can only talk family values but do everything, including the president, to show anything other than that, demonstrates that we have a big fight. The fight, I believe, is most winnable on the political side, because legally it's tough one-on-one to do this, and I think the leadership in Washington, D.C. is doing everything possible to undermine the ability to have the class action type of case that could really address this for everyone. But you all will be at the vanguard, and many of us who are with you, will try to work as closely as we can to make sure that we are protecting people's constitutional rights and winning that political fight. But morally, there is no question that the history books will judge harshly those who engaged in this action.
All right, so let's play a little more hardball then. So yes, we have many challenges with the Republicans, but I think, also have seen some real challenges with Democrats on this issue. There is concern out there, it's expressed here, that maybe the Democratic Party is more interested in keeping this as a political issue than trying to solve problems. Just to be blunt, one of the comments here is an 8-hour speech in support of DACA is meaningless when the Dems cave the same day. So what can we do to understand that we've got challenges on both sides and want to get everybody on the right side of this issue?
So, how can I put this? I can't change the color of my skin. That's going to be there forever. I'm proud that I can speak both English and Spanish on the twist of a dime, and I chose to be a Democrat. I don't think we live and die on a party. And while I am proud to be a Democrat and be the standard bearer on the ballot this November as the Attorney General as a Democrat, I will tell you that one of the things that the Democratic Party must do is prove that we will stand for those values. And I would say to you, be as tough on anyone who's in elected office as you can be, regardless of their party, because it's the value at the end of the day that counts, because I was there for 24 years. I remember many of those episodes. Everyone must be accountable. I don't care what your party affiliation is. And we must prove that we mean what we say. We can't be like Donald Trump, who says one thing and does another. It's time for us to prove what we say is what we will do. Thank you all very much.